Hello and good morning, ladies. I am okay. Facebook just said I was live. Hi, ladies. All right, so I needed to jump on today because I noticed that there's a situation. Let me fix this. I noticed a situation, and we need to talk about it. There are some relationship rules, some unspoken relationship rules that I feel like are keeping many women from the husband that God wants for them, from the man of your dreams, from the man that will treat you right. Okay? And it's a little bit deep. So I don't know how long this is going to take today, but we need to talk about it. We need to discuss it. Get these earrings right. Okay. So I have a question. Have you seen that video of this young blonde woman in her car upset because her husband asked her for a divorce? You know what I'm talking about? Because it's going viral right now. Everybody's talking about it. She's in her car. She has two kids, and she's like, "I don't have no degree. I don't know if she has a degree or not, but she's in her car. She's like, I don't have a job. I don't have a career. I have these two kids, and my name is not on the house. I don't have any money or any savings. I don't even have a credit card in my name." And her husband has decided that he wanted a divorce. Did you see that video? Because everybody keeps talking about it. And she's in this predicament that she's just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. He already cut off access to my Amex card, and that's what I use to pay for everything. I don't know what I'm going to do as a single mom, as a single woman, whatever. And so when you look at the comments, whenever you look at the commentary of people who keep sharing this video, everybody's like, it's her fault. This was dumb. This is what, you know what I mean? This, and that, the other. And I'm not saying that this wasn't her fault, but I am saying that she's not necessarily to blame. Okay? It's her fault in that she made the decision to, you know, not have money, not have a career. But let's take a look at what's really going on deeper than that. And the reason why I want to do this is because I feel like this is more common than we want it to be. Now, you might be watching me and thinking, Teray, I would never find myself in that situation. But I'm not so sure that everybody feels that way. Or if you believe that you wouldn't find yourself in that situation, let me tell you how easy it is to get into that situation. The truth of the matter is that there are some people, I don't know what they're doing outside, but I'm one of those neighbors. Like, what are y'all doing? But anyway, there are women who find themselves in this situation, but it's easier to get into than you think. And I want to talk about it. We're going to talk about how she's been influenced to be in this situation. And and the reason why relationship rules might change. Teray, what does one have to do with the other? We're going to talk about it. All right? So this is the thing. The first thing that I keep seeing is that everybody's blaming him. This is his fault. And other relationship coaches and people who give relationship advice, dating advice, are like, well, this is his fault. He's the one who X, Y, and Z, right? But let's look a little bit deeper because you'll know by the end of this video why I keep saying that there's a reason why you have to look deeper, because it's easy to get into this situation. It's easier than you think. From the outside looking in, you're like, girl, why would you even go along with whatever he said? But when you're in it, it's different. And that's what we're talking about. So on one hand, what we understand about her situation is that he had a different idea of what it means to be a husband than she did. And when we're talking about my book, I don't even have my book out. I didn't even plan on referencing my book. When you look at my book, I talk about that. When you're getting to know a guy, you have to figure out what he thinks about the role of being a husband or the role of, having a wife. Some men think that they need a wife because they need somebody to cook and clean and take on the same responsibilities as their mother, and then they add the intimacy to it. So some men think that. So you have to figure out why does he want to be married? And once he's in the marriage, what does that look like? What are your expectations, sir? What expectations do you have on yourself? And then what expectations do you have on the wife? That's why you ask him questions like, so what happened in your last relationship? Why did you guys get divorced? Because you're going to learn about his mindset regarding his roles and his ideas about being a husband. It's not because you're in their business. It's not because it's any of your business. But what is your business is what his perspective is on being a husband. And that will help to tell you what you need to know, right? He had different ideas. Or maybe she agreed with his ideas. It's on me to take care of you. I'm going to take on all the responsibility. You don't need to work. You don't need your name on anything. That's my job. Why would she agree to that? We're going to talk about it. Another thing about a husband and his ideas about his roles that you have to pay attention to is that he may have friends who have had a divorce and it ruined them. What am I talking about? What do I even mean by that? What keeps happening, or what I keep seeing, is that there are men who are making videos. There are men who are out here in these streets. They have friends who are married. But when they go through a divorce, it damages their perception about marriage. So what will happen is they'll go through the divorce, they go through the whole legal process. And the judge says, well, she gets the house, she gets half your income, she gets child support, she gets the kids, she gets your 401k, and he's left with bad credit. And so he's like, yeah, she took me for how many times have we heard, she took me for everything. She took me through the ringer. She, you know what I mean? It's cheaper to keep her. That kind of thing, right? When really the judge is like, yeah, she is the one caring for the house. She's the one who needs somewhere to raise these kids. And she, you know what I mean? She needs you to be a provider. But whenever a man is trying to get out of a divorce, he doesn't want to provide anymore. So that's why the judge makes him do it. But then whenever you have a guy who just wants to move on with his life, but his money is still going to his ex-wife and all the kids, then in his mind, his life was ruined. So that's what he preaches. And so what it looks like in this case is that when he got married to her, he decided that he was going to control everything. And he made her sign a prenup. He didn't make her sign a prenup. He presented a prenup and she signed it. Have you seen this video? I hope you did. I hope you know what I'm talking about. And the third thing about a man like this is that he hasn't, witnessed or experienced any successful marriages in his circle. Maybe his parents are divorced. Maybe everybody he knows is divorced. So whenever he decides to get married, he's like, oh, we're doing this my way so that I'm protected in case, the marriage ends. In this case, he's ending the marriage, right? So we have to consider his influence, but let's consider her influence, okay? For most of us, especially those of us in Christian households, excuse me, I've been struggling with my nose and now I'm coughing. I don't know what's going on. Women, and myself included, and most women I know, have gotten pressure from other women, especially the elders, the older women in our families, our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties, women in the church who say things um, like, let him take care of you. He's the provider. You don't need a career. He's so nice. You know what I mean? Get you a man that loves you, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So the thing is that, excuse me, even if you're dating a guy, you're seeing some flags, one thing looks like you can look at something specific and tell, okay, that's going to be a bad idea in the long run. This isn't going to work for me. No, I don't want to sign a prenup. That's ridiculous. But then these other women are in your ear like, girl, he's so fine. He has a nice job. He wants to buy you a house. Go ahead, go along with it. If if you don't get with him, then another woman is you're going to pass up a good opportunity. Women tell us this stuff. We watch movies where that's the case. He's wealthy, he's, you know what I mean, he's generous, he has a big house, or he's going to buy you a big house. You want to, they're trying to convince you that you want to be attached to the things that come with this man. And meanwhile, you're dating him and you're kind of looking at his characteristics like, well, wait a minute. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I'm seeing some things. I've been reading Teray's book, and she has a strategy, and she's telling me what to look for. And I'm seeing some of these flags that I don't like. But when you talk to the women in your circle, like, girl, don't pay any of that any attention. Meanwhile, a lot of these women are either single or they've been in, they're old school women from back in the day. So they're used to being in a relationship for, I don't know, 40, 50 years, where women back 50 years ago didn't have a choice but to be married. That's what you did. You graduated from high school, you moved out of your parents' house, you moved into your husband's house, and he took care of you. Your parents were taking care of you, now he's taking care of you. We couldn't build businesses, we couldn't have bank accounts, we couldn't have credit without a signature from a man. 50 years, it wasn't that long ago. It was in the 70s. Yeah. So you got women who are from that generation who are like, yeah, no, you need to be with a man. It's okay. It's fine. Whatever he wants. That's your influence. How many times have you dated a guy and you think, I'm not sure, I don't want to and then women in your circle, older or your age, have criticized you for your reasoning for breaking up with him, and you're like, something ain't right. I can feel that in my gut. Or you feel something in your gut and you're like, does this seem right to you? And whenever your friend or your family members, hears what you have to say, they're like, girl, I wouldn't worry about it. Well, they're not the ones dating him. You are. This is not their future. This is yours. You see what I'm saying? Mm-mm. They want to tell you everything is fine, everything will work out, and then people will guilt trip you. I feel like when she was in this situation and he wanted her to sign a prenup, her initial response was probably no. And I feel like it's possible that the people in her circle probably was like, well, you wouldn't have a problem signing the prenup if you didn't plan on taking his money. If you really love him, if you must not really trust him if you feel like you have to have your own money over here on the side. In fact, not only was she influenced by the people in her circle, she was probably influenced by him. You get involved with a guy. This is why I tell you to not make decisions about a relationship with your heart and with your emotions. Make it with your head. She probably decided she liked him so much and she was all in and she wanted to be the wife that he wanted. And when he said, if you really trust me, you'll do this. If you really love me, if you really believe in us and what our future holds together, her emotions and her heart had her in that. Yeah, you're right. I love you so much. Yes, of course I believe in you. I believe in us. That's a problem. It's not her fault. And you can say that, well, sure it is. At the end of the day, she's the one that made that decision. I agree with that. But she made that decision because she is relying on these old school relationship rules, which is what we're talking about today. These relationship rules have to change, and this is why. Okay? Why would she agree to all that? Because we're looking from the outside like that's dumb. But when your heart is in it and you really love your husband, I'm stopping for a reason. Because there's a lot of y'all watching this and like, oh, I would never. Yes, you've already done it. How many times have you been in relationships? The wrong relationship. And when you got through it and got out of it, you looked back over and was like, what the heck was I thinking? If you're not going to admit it, I will. Most of you guys know that I'm in my second marriage. I left the first one because I agreed to some things that I shouldn't have agreed to. I saw some flags that I chose to ignore. And I tolerated some stuff that I shouldn't have tolerated. And from the outside looking in, everybody thought everything was, oh, he's great. Sure, he's not terrible, but he's not right for me. But you don't see what I see. You don't see how I'm being treated. You don't see what he says. You see what he shows you on the outside. But I tolerated it even before we got married because I believed in the marriage. Because I believed in the influence. The influences that I was getting. Oh, girl, no, at least he's not. Well, I mean, if he didn't cheat and he didn't beat you and he didn't this, as if emotional abuse isn't a real thing. As if emotional neglect is not a real thing. As if narcissism and controlling in the marriage is not a real thing. You see what I'm saying? She doesn't want to seem like she doesn't trust him. And she thinks that she's making these decisions out of love. When we're looking for a husband, there are some biblical aspects of being a husband, of a man who is a husband. And he didn't display any of them. This man who's like, I'm not putting your name on the deed to the house. I don't want you to have a career. I want you to raise my kids. You don't need any of your own money. I'm not putting your name on our bank accounts. I'm responsible for everything. Those are biblical aspects of being a husband. And then he's the one that decided that he just didn't want to be bothered with her anymore. I want a divorce. That means he can get out anytime he wants. And she can't, even with the treatment. What are biblical aspects of being a husband? Let's look at it from a scriptural perspective. Love and self-sacrifice. Love your wife as Christ loved the church, prioritizing her needs above your own. That's in Ephesians 5 and 25. Headship and leadership. Act as the head of the household, providing spiritual guidance and overall direction, but with responsibility and care, not harshness. That's in Ephesians also, and 1 Peter 3 and 7. Provision and protection. Provide for the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of the wife and the family. Okay? Faithfulness and respect. Be completely faithful and treat your wife with honor and understanding. That's also in First Peter. And partnership. Share responsibility for children and life's burdens, being a safe space for her to share her heart. Now she's in this predicament that she can't get out of. She signed a prenup. I'm not saying that there's not a place for prenups in marriages. Because depending on what the prenup is, it might be, it might make sense. If she was the one with all the money, she might want to sign a prenup, especially with the way he's acting. Okay? Because we have too many women out here who are paying spousal support to some dusty dude. Okay? That's a whole nother conversation about prenups. But you know where I like to look in the Bible whenever we're talking about the role of a wife? Proverbs 31. Got my trusty Bible out right here. Proverbs 31 talks about, and I'm not going to read it to you. You know what Proverbs 31, but let me pull some stuff out of it that you may not have considered. Proverbs 31 verse 11 says that her husband has full confidence in her. Full confidence. This dude didn't have any confidence in her. That's why he did what he did. He put her in a position where she couldn't and wouldn't and shouldn't. Because he didn't have any confidence in her. He didn't have confidence in the marriage. Which is why I said what I said earlier about his influence. The fact that he hasn't seen any successful marriages. The fact that he has friends and coworkers who are like, oh, my ex-wife got me for everything. He didn't have any confidence in her. Okay. Let me tell you what else. And this is to me one of the main reasons why the relationship rules have to change. That whole, get a man so he can take care of you. Let me be clear. In Proverbs 31, verses 13 through 19 and verse 24, she had her own sources of income. See, we don't talk about that. Let me read it. 13 through 19. She finds wool and flax and busily spins it. She's like a merchant ship bringing her food from afar. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plans the day's work for her servant girls, which means she has people working for her. Got it. Which means she's paying them. Got it. She goes to inspect a field and buys it with her own earnings that she plants in a vineyard. She's energetic and strong and a hard worker. She makes sure her dwellings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night, and her hands are busy spinning thread, her fingers twisting fiber. And then I drop down to verse 24 where it says she makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to the merchants. The girlfriend had like 4 businesses. And her husband, verse 11, has full confidence in her. Anytime you get with a guy who acts like he doesn't trust your success or he's intimidated by it, that's a red flag, man. Cut him off. The Bible says that you're supposed to have your own income. And this is what I'm talking about. Because we've been told that, if he's going to take care of you, it's fine. No, ma'am. The Bible says you're supposed to have your own income and your own money and your own business, sis. Yeah. She makes enough to hire paid help. She's not running this by herself. She has a team that she's paying. In verse 21, says that she has no fear of winter for her household. She has no fear of winter. Teray, what does that have to do with anything? Winter is a place of dryness and lack and fruitlessness. Winter. This woman who's in this car talking about she doesn't know what she's going to do, she's in a place of lack and fruitlessness. But according to Proverbs 31 verse 21, it says she's prepared for coldness and lack. Tell me her husband's not being cold towards her. Tell me that she's not in a place of lack. But the Proverbs 31 woman is prepared for it. Do you see what I'm saying? But according to the influence, our big mamas and our aunties and them, no, girl, let him take care of you. If he leaves you, then sue him. That's not. And in this case, she can't because she signed a prenup. Do you see what I'm saying? We got to change. Ladies, this is why you don't marry men from your emotions and from. It has to make sense. It has to make sense. Stop trusting and believing every little thing. This is what I'm talking about. That's why I wrote the book. It's so easy to start dating a guy and being like, I mean, he's so great. He makes me feel so good. This isn't about your feelings. I'm not saying you shouldn't like a guy. I'm not saying you shouldn't fall in love with him. I'm saying don't make decisions from your emotions. Well, how am I supposed to know that he's the right guy? I gave you a blueprint. It's on Amazon. I gave you a blueprint. At the end of Proverbs 31, verse 28, says, her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. There are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive, and beauty does not last, but a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. I think the biggest thing, and this is where I'll end, is that women are fearing loneliness. They are fearing losing a good guy. They're fearing so many other things and not fearing the Lord. Read your Bible. Know what God says about relationships. And we have to stop listening to what's out here regarding what you need to do for you, for your future, for your life, for your marriage. Got it? I know I fussed at y'all a little bit, but I hope that everybody, I hope that this helps, and this helps to shift your perspective about relationship and how to choose the right partner and how to build the relationship, what you're looking for up front in a guy, and how to navigate that space whenever it comes time to make the decision to be in the right relationship. Does that make sense? Don't ignore the flags, because I think that's the biggest thing. Got it? I appreciate you, ladies. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.